hiking seeker. I've stepped off the trail for a while just to have a talk about footwear, looking after your feet, blisters, etc. You know how bad blisters can be. They can ruin a walk, hike from the very beginning. It doesn't take long. You've got to be really careful with your feet. That's the shoe I'm wearing today, a Solomon hiking shoe. I guess the brand name doesn't matter as long as they're good quality. That's the type of shoe I prefer. I wouldn't exactly call them a trail runner, but they are a light hiking shoe, which is what I prefer. They breathe well, and obviously if they get wet, they dry quickly, which is another good thing. Now I've been using these type of shoes, lightweight shoes, for a number of years now. I started off with boots, leather boots, and then boots made out of the same material as these. Mid boots, you know, in between this and the main boot. I couldn't seem to get on with them, so this is what I use. Take a size 10, and these are a size 11, so that works for me. I found a half size wasn't enough. Be careful of with any hiking shoe, which I used to have a lot of trouble with, is my toes, because of the toe box here. You don't want, when you're coming down a hill, you don't want your feet sliding down and jamming into the toe box. So that causes, you know, at the beginning I had no end of black nail, you know, lost toenails. It's not pleasant. It squashes your toes up. It's not good. That's the shoe I use. So I'll get on to the socks now, and I'll show you. Okay, this is my socks I use. Everything for me is lightweight. Now these are Ninjini socks. They go between your toes. I mean, not everybody likes them, but for me, they do the trick. They wick the moisture away. And as I say, they stop. I have trouble with my toes. The main thing I have trouble with is they grind together, especially when you're going downhill. So these help me. They're not good for everybody. The other thing is your feet. You treat them, you know, with the respect they deserve. You can see I've got a bit of a rash today hiking. Take them off. Now you want your toenails cut nice and short and square. The last thing you want is jagged toenails cutting into the side of your toe. So that's the first thing. Look after your toenails. There you go. They're nicely fitted down on my foot there. And then I've got these socks, another light pair of socks. They've got a slight padded toe and a slight padded heel. So this is the second pair that I use. Put them on like that. Now obviously you want to make sure the heel fits properly and the toe fits properly. Once you've got a blister, you've got to do something about it. So I usually carry some wipes in a plastic bag in my first aid kit. That's the first thing I do. Clean it up as much as you possibly can. That's the first thing you do. And the next thing you do, you're going to cut your tape. And there's all different sorts of tapes. Leuco tape, moleskin tape. But here in Australia, this is about the most popular. The physios use it for strapping. It's rock tape, and that's the one I use. Now obviously you're going to cut it to the size you want. Now the thing I do with it, the best thing to do first up is to round the corners. When you've got round corners on it, you've got some chance of the sock not pulling on that corner. So you want to do that. That's the first thing you want to do. Cut the corners off it. Then this has got a sticky back on it. Right, that comes off. And you can leave it on like that. Now what you're going to do then, in another little bag, I've got some gauze. They're all different sizes. You pick a size you want. Maybe a small size, it's only a small blister. So then you're going to stick that gauze in the middle of the rock tape like that. Some other, these can go straight on blisters. These are Compede, they're called. That's another one you can get in the chemist. They're very good as well. I've used those. You know, even though I said you stop, sometimes you're in a hell of a bloody hurry and you've got a blister and you stop and you just put that straight on the blister, and that unless you get your feet wet, it stays on there, and it stays on there till it heals basically. It'll fall off after a few days. So they're an excellent product too. Extremely careful with your feet when you're hiking. Yeah, that's what I use. And the big thing is, of course, I think I'm on another video I've said about gaiters. That's another thing. You don't. I mean, you don't need real heavy gaiters unless you're going into snake country. That's a key thing too. Keep everything out of your shoes. You don't want bits of grit, sand if you're on the beach, little bits of twig, anything that can get down inside your shoe and start a problem for you. With these problems, as you know, you probably know anyway, they've got a habit of, your feet have got a habit of deteriorating very quickly into a blister. Tony G, Hike and Seeker, signing out. I hope you found that useful.